Okay, so while working on the Snow Shadows video, I started to think to myself, it's kind of weird that Mummy Wraps was in that Trident build, so I decided to put the Mummy Wraps to test with Snow Shadows for some reason. And wow, Duluth was really onto something, because the Mummy Wraps is actually extremely good. So let's talk about it. Mummy Wraps, or also known as toilet paper wraps, or also known as the only instance of a helmet being turned into an accessory for one person. Getting off track here, but you get it. You get these wraps from these mummy enemies in the desert temple with only a 5% drop chance. The mummy wraps itself are actually, interesting to say the least. When equipped, it gives you 2 stat changes, 4 less agility, and 8 additional damage. The mummy wraps also has one gimmick. Upon hitting an enemy, you apply a 50% speed debuff that lasts for about 2 to 5 seconds. I don't know the specifics of this debuff's duration, but it seems to be randomized. Maybe. But you can prove me wrong in the comment section and I'll either pin or heart your comment. Anyways, you might be wondering, well, the stats themselves are nothing to scoff at since 4 less agility and 8 additional defense aren't, mind-blowing. Even the main addition of applying a movement speed debuff on the enemy doesn't even sound, all that good in general. But wait, did you catch that? I said that the Mummy Wraps' ability applies a movement speed debuff. Despite the Mummy Wraps not being very good on their own, it's the only helmet in the game that applies a debuff, which means one thing. It's compatible with the Corroded Scalpel. Considering that we get an additional 8% piercing and 8% damage from just using the Mummy Wraps, with the Corroded Scalpel obviously, mostly means that we can replace the Frost Magic Cap and Fire Magic Cap, because 10% extra damage for the specific element weapon effect is slightly worse than the 8% damage and 8% piercing. Even though you can use these hats on their own, you'd mostly see them with on combination with Corroded Scalpel and Elemental builds, which is why I'm basically saying, 8% piercing and 8% damage is better than these helmets, because 10% is as a matter of fact, you get 2% less damage, but you get 8% piercing with the Corroded Scalpel with Mummy Wraps, just these 2 items alone. But anyways, although I'm not too sure with a complete replacement of Prism Crown in some of these builds though, since if the Elemental build has a weapon that uses Insignia Gem, then you kind of need the Prism Crown to combat the damage percentage reduction of the Insignia Gems, debuff. And if you use Light Gem, you might want that extra swing speed from the Prism Crown, which can help you in a pinch. Point being that Mummy Wraps are just insanely good right now, and always has been. It's just that some items that are appearing in today's meta, nobody thought they could ever be good on a surface level, but dive in a little deeper into these items or weapons, and they could become very good. Anyways, this is the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out my other videos if you haven't yet. And with that, this is the end of the video, and we'll see you fellers next time. Goodbye.